expanding. So just to come down now to the summary, we've obviously covered quite a bit of territory, but I thought I'd just wrap up in saying, and this question we get asked quite often is, what are the 5 things to consider when preparing an urban heat mitigation or urban cooling strategy? I think the first one is really to answer this question, where are heat islands? So where do they exist within your council area or your area of interest, and what's causing them? So, particularly what are the land surface materials that are causing heat islands? And then secondly, that question of where are heat vulnerable communities located? It's also important there with the vulnerable communities is to ask yourself the question, are you looking at, for example, children under the age of 4? Is it elderly people over 65 years? Is it people with a disability? There's lots of different ways to frame vulnerable members of the community. But needs to say, knowing where they live in relation to heat islands is quite important. Another point there is, how do heat islands change through time, and what do we think the impacts of development or climate change might be? Because really the decisions we're making today are influencing how heat islands will exist in the future. The fourth point there is really working out where can government or business influence or control factors that influence heat vulnerability. So there might be a whole bunch of actions that are outside of your control. So really trying to work out where are the areas that you can have an impact. And point 5, I think I've just covered on that before, but it's saying really what are the decisions that are being made today that are influencing heat islands now and in the future. And my guess is that particularly in metropolitan parts of Australia, there aren't too many councils who wouldn't be making development decisions right now that aren't in some way exacerbating heat islands. That's certainly been our experience. So they're the 5 things